Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. We have two wonderful maps here for you tonight. Our first map, as you can see, is an overview of PreGame, a very open map, very nice for the cav weapons we see. And our second map for the night is Hooker Push, again a very open map. Both maps should be very, very fun to watch. And shortly we will be seeing our teams on the Union tonight. We have Sussy Brigade, which is the 4th and 5th North Carolina, 5th Florida, and the 1st Maryland. 20th New York, we have the AP, which is IVB, and the 20th Maine. And we have 1st Delaware on the Union. On the Confederates, we got 1st Corps, which is Anderson's Brigade and Walker's Division, with the 7th Virginia Cav and the 7th Massachusetts. Your team for the night is you have commentators with myself as Guardian Eagle and that one Sevi. We have Panzer going to be the Rebel field reporter, and we have Scott's being the Union field reporter. How's it going for you guys tonight?
I'm doing pretty well tonight. Thanks for asking.
You like that? You like that?
I'm doing pretty good. Ready? We got two very good, a bunch of very good units in here, ready to give us a good event. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Thank you for that. Do you guys have any insight into the two maps that we're going to be doing tonight?
Well, I can imagine a lot of heavy pushing in both those maps. If the Union don't quickly secure the point, especially on Hooker's Push, if the Union don't act to secure that point and try to wipe the Rebel force off, they'll be stuck in a grind where they just won't be able to get up there and actually take a grasp at the point. But on Pry Forward, I don't really know what to expect. It used to be a very easy win for the Yankees, but in a lot of recent times, I've seen them dropping the ball. So I think I can see it going either way for both the maps.
For Hooker's Push, you'll probably see fighting over the rock piles throughout the map, and you'll see a lot of cat and mouse play. Pride Forward, you'll definitely see a lot of fighting over the center left hill right on point, and the artillery will probably determine the end of the battle. You'll see some juicy pink mist throughout that map for sure.
Yeah, so like he said, we've got a Pride Forward is probably one of the best artillery maps on this game, along with like Nicodemus Hill is another very good one. So we'll see a lot of already doing damage. That's going to come down to, in my opinion, who's already hits the most shots. And then on Hooker's Push, it's going to be interesting because we're going to see how the Union plays it, because they do have that really long walk to go from their deployment. So the flags are going to be very important. We're going to see what they do about that.
Yeah, walking up there as a Yankee is not a very good time if you don't have anybody playing music.
Yeah, for sure, especially from experience. All right, thank you for this little pregame intro. For now, we're just going to cut to our spectator's screen here. He's going around enjoying the wonderful views here of mustering. For those who don't know what mustering is, it's basically while we wait for everyone to get in the server, we just watch people screw around and have a good time.
And this is, funnily enough, the map that is always played on mustering. It is one of my, I wouldn't say one of my favorite maps, but I definitely do enjoy playing on it. Because the Union have both the Springfield 42 with buck and ball, and the Sharps rifle, which I would consider the two best guns in the game. The Sharps rifle for its fast reloading, and the buck and ball in the Springfield 42. But we can see here that the Union actually have around 20 men less than the Confederacy. So I would expect that in their coordination call, they're probably talking about moving over one of these regiments of about 10 men. So maybe we'll see the Walker's Division 6th Georgia moving over to the Union team to balance things over. Maybe we won't. Maybe they'll just play with those bad numbers. Who knows? But yeah, I think every other unit there is a little bit too big.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, though. Got a very epic battle happening on point. Possibly Union holding that position on point.
Yes. Certainly we can see here with our field reporter, it is, lots of death, lots of everything. And with this massive Confederate push.
We got a great view of him right now. Those charging rebels unfortunately get the field reporter.
Buck and ball through the smoke. Union push off a point. Let's see how these Confederates fare against the Union forces on these rocks. This is, again, the most important round of any game is the mustering round, as everyone knows.
Of course.
It's the only round that really counts.
Scott's, what was the charge like for you?
It was definitely we thought it was going to happen. We didn't think it was going to happen in the way. We thought we were going to have more people on the point, but you know, it's one of those things. It is what it is. You know, I mean, they got a repulsing attack from us now. We got a lot of people at the rock formation that are ready to go. So if they try to push up anymore, they'll be hitting some guns. That's for sure.
That is definitely for sure. Thank you for that.
I would like to say, if you can see here that the Union man who's on the Confederate team for reasons of balancing, actually he has, as you can see here, a Colt Army. What that tells you is that he might not be aware that the Confederate officers, all of them, get to choose these Lamat pattern pistol, which in real life it had its drawbacks, but in game it is just superior to the Colts in every way. It has 9 shots plus a buckshot round in the center, a 20 gauge shot. So when you're a Confederate officer, make sure you use those arrows and pick yourself up a Lamat. It has 9 round balls. Remember, in War of Rights, one of those tiny little balls hitting the tip of your pinky toe kills you. Of course, it's meant to represent wounded in action, not being very good at fighting anymore. But you know what? Something tells me that getting shot in the foot with a tiny little round ball wouldn't do much to you. Wouldn't stop you from holding up a musket.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe we're starting now.
Looks possibly.
Union now outnumbered only by around 15, so that is, at these higher numbers, that is something that some groups would play with. They would need to move over a group of around exactly 7 to move to even out, which, like I said, I think they would probably, if they do want to switch things up and have things more even, they would probably move over these guys. Union also do have a number of Confederate overflow, though, which is balancing up their numbers. We can see a couple numbers of Confederates in the unenlisted, which means that they didn't actually click to join and spawn in. So we'll see in a couple seconds when this switches over if they're planning on the next map.
All right, debrief for mustering.
Yeah, debrief for mustering.
Debrief for mustering.
I didn't really see the artillery do much.
I know, our team was frankly terrible.
We can see them hitting their own men there.
Cutting the
Now, in
grass.
all seriousness, though, a mustering map, it's always fun to, have a big time to just let yourself loose, to run at the enemy, to play songs, all that stuff. While in the main rounds, a little more competitive, and, well, let's just say that these kind of out of lines in 20 minutes would not be acceptable in a main match.
I would hope they wouldn't be acceptable.
So holding the tab screen, we can now see that it is, in fact, on Pry Forward, which tells us that they have set the map to the first round Pry Forward.
All right, here we go with our first round. We got Sevi, our spectator, looking over the beautiful battlefield here. On the bottom left, we have Scott's view as the Union player, where on the bottom right, we have Panzer's view as the Rebel. It will be very cool to have 2 field reporters this time, as we normally do not have that.
All right. So we can see here what we were talking about earlier in the muster round is that both teams have already artillery that can see the entire field. So although these artillery positions, obviously it's very hard to get substantial ticket losses from artillery because you're killing everybody information. These are very good for getting rid of those positions, those large lines that we see so often in these events. Which honestly, that's how you win on point, is by forming a large line and charging it. So these cannons positions, we'll be able to have them a hard time. We can see now that the artillery of the Union are being taken by Confederate skirmishers. They're not allowed to go all the way over here. It's out of bounds for them, but they are allowed to shoot them. So we can see around half a dozen, maybe up to 10 men shooting these Union gunners. On the Union guns, we have a 20th New York portion of the battery, the 5th North Carolina battery, and I think that's it. On the Confederate guns, let's see here, we have the AB's battery. So that's what we have. We can see now that they are still outnumbered with about 5 unenlisted players, which brings it around to 20 men difference. The Union putting up a push in the center into where the artillery can't see him, but it is hard for them to do it. They're taking aim at those. What they say is he's aiming at the heads, even a bit high for how far they are. Let's see how well they do at this volley. They killed 1 man kneeling, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that is 3 tickets. That is equal to 3 men standing up. We can see now the Confederates have full position of the right.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry about the black screens there. I was screwing with some stuff, volume stuff. Sorry about that. Yeah, now it's working.
Okay. So now we can see that the Confederates have pushed up on the Union right, taking good positions on these rocks. These rocks are very pivotal, because if the Union were to take them, they could force the Confederates up and over that hill. And if the Union holds that hill, the Confederate artillery can't hit them. And yeah, once the Union controls this half of the map from that hill to the east, they win. So it's very hard for the Confederates, once they lose this part of the map, to pull it back and win. We can see now that the Union aren't really putting up much of force to take it, though. I think they're more focused on taking the center. We can see here that the 5th Florida is advancing up in the center. I hear them yelling up and over. And the Union guns are still receiving a lot of damage from these Confederate skirmishers. Now the Confederate skirmishers have flag A. They are losing a lot of men, but that might be worth it to keep these Union guns suppressed. The Confederate guns now also counter-battering. I don't really know how effective counter-battery would be when you have these giant lines over here of the Union they could be firing at.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like Union's advancing a little bit into that little bush area up in front. Up there. Artie, though, the CSA Artie will have nice shots on them once they get there. I remember playing there. CSA Artie was always devastating once they got into the right position.
Definitely, definitely. We can see here that they are pushing up more and more men into the center, which again, the Confederate Artie can hit, but it looks like the Confederate Artie are more interested in counter battering the Union battery, which is already down. The Union battery is not able to put up men resistance, remember, because of the skirmishers. We can see here that the Union are just doing a shootout back and forth with the Confederates. Looks like nobody really is interested in making the first move. Confederates do... Oh, I don't actually know. I know that the Hulk Legion does not have any buck and ball. They all have Enfield rifles. I don't know about the 17th South Carolina. I don't know if they have buck and ball. Yeah, I can zoom in real quick. So we can see here that these Confederate units facing off against the Union is the 1st Corps, the AB. We can see here that they're holding on these rock positions. Springfield 55, Enfield. I don't see any buck and ball. So who knows? Maybe they're just being told not to pick them. They are putting up fierce resistance against the Union. There's only 5 minutes into the round, really 2 if you count the timer, which is, with the new transition screens. I say new, but that was a bit a while ago. The time of each round went down by around 2 minutes. Some men moving between to and fro the Confederate lines. Union now making a large advance towards the center, right in the open, with a few of their units making a bit of a skirmish line. I don't know how effective a skirmish line would be. However, they're doing a pretty cool thing when a little bit gamey, but you see Confederate getting red mist over there, probably killing 2 or 3 men. They're holding up in that shadow, which makes them a lot harder to see, which is interesting.
Yeah, for sure, especially with that little hill they got defilated there. Kind of a nice spot there. It looks like our Union player is currently there right now. Or, no, he's not. He's a little farther right than that. But, yeah, he's got a nice shots there. Yep, just where you're looking there.
Yes, and like I was saying earlier, the typical Union strat is to form up or over that hill and then push out these positions, take out where the Confederates are, and then hold on this side of the hill. If they're on this side of the hill in this deflate, the Confederate Artillery cannot hit them. Looks like the Union are doing a different strategy now, pushing mainly in the center, where the Confederate artillery can see them. However, with their cool skirmish line positions, this 20th New York is putting good shots on the Confederacy. Let's see how bad their losses are over here. We can see that remember the 1st Corps ABs, let's see, this is the 14th Tennessee and the 1st Georgia. They are taking some skirmishing losses, but it doesn't look too severe.
No, it does not.
They're taking a lot of blood on the ground, though, so they have taken a lot of losses in the whole round, totally. We can see now Union have abandoned their skirmish line and have pushed up into a more conventional line. This is affording them a lot more firepower in a more condensed area. However, it does also make them more vulnerable to enemy fire and enemy artillery shot.
Yeah, once Artie
I don't know
gets
why
a
they
lock
want to be
into that.
here.
Yeah, but I mean, once that Artie locks on, it'll be deadly. They're close, as you can see that shot. They're very, very close to their line. Luckily, not hitting them. I would think they would move shortly.
Union artillery hitting 200 yards short. Not really. That's only like 70 yards. So again, just to recap, the Confederates are in control of all the major positions on this map, but the Union artillery seems to have, with the aid of some infantry, let's go see what the infantry is, pushed off the skirmishers from that position. Again, this is the 20th New York's battery and the 5th North Carolina's battery. They have a lot of men on this artillery for being a group that's outnumbered by, well, now it's only 14. They have 12 men in artillery. I don't know if that's a good position for them, considering their outnumberedness. What do you think about that, Eagle?
Yeah, it's interesting, but they are attacking. They have more tickets. Looks like there's an intense charge happening on the right side. Our frontline reporter Scott just got domed in that charge. We got from our Rebel player view, trying to hold the line against that Union charge. Rebels holding like a stone wall here, making sure
we can see that the Confederates formed a very tight line. Yes.
Some of the Rebels seem to be countercharging now. They are
Union,
countercharging.
most of them are still reloading. Confederates or Union artillery cavalrymen are not pulling out their pistols fast enough, and the ones that are not using them properly enough. It looks like this is a Union wipe.
Yeah, for sure. Out of lines will kill the Union. I don't know how successful that charge was, especially because, like you said, the Union's outnumbered right now, especially with guys on their arty, and I don't think that was their whole team that charged.
No, that wasn't even like. Let's see over here. Whoa! At the same time as that charge, the Union pushed up and took the center. So maybe that was their point. Maybe they're trying to do a little distraction on the right while they took the center. Union
That
have a
would make
flag up,
sense.
spawning in men of the 2nd U.S. This is the Company A, which is 40 men. So 40 men could be spawning on this flag very soon. We can see now that the Union lost the right but took the center. Confederates, almost their entire team is holed up here on this right. If a single, I don't think artillery can usually hit very many people in one shot. But if one shot hit right there, they would kill like 20 people. Let's see if the Union artillery is able to do that. Union infantry are falling back to their old positions. It is very early on in the game, and they can't afford to do that. But it must hurt to have to give up all of their gains.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if they had a plan and then it just kind of fell apart. Maybe they thought the right charge would win. Maybe they thought the whole rebel team would not be together. I don't know.
Looks like Union artillery, if they are shooting, I can see one guy aiming on that cannon. Looks like he's aiming. No, he's not. Yeah, he's aiming. So maybe they'll get hit soon. Who knows? We can see though that the Union lost 2 of their flags, which will hurt them slightly. But in general, I do think that if the Union were to continue doing, Union is undershoots by around 70 yards. If the Union were to continue doing these charges, even though they are losing on the ground, they would win on tickets. By the way, if any artillery people are watching this, tick it up a little bit higher and then set the fuse down to the length you want.
Yeah, for sure.
So get over the hill.
We'll cut to our CSA field reporter quickly. Panzer, how are you feeling after that charge? How's your team feeling after that winning charge?
That was a pretty decisive win there. The Union, I don't believe, saw the second group we had in the back and got really cut down before they even hit the rocks.
Yeah, for sure. You guys just absolutely demolished them. Thank you for your report. Back to Sevi here.
Union are now up within 4 members, within 4 players of the Union. We can cannon or camera kind of freaking out here. Wants to move right, so that should fix it. It did not fix it.
We're spinning around.
Oh god,
here.
This game is perfect. Okay, now maybe this will fix it. Maybe. Come on.
As you can kind of see quickly, we just ran over that rebel group that's sitting back.
Yes,
That
here.
Panzer was talking about. If you got a
Oh,
lot.
there we go.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
But we got that
So now we
second
can
rebel
see-
group
yes.
that's sitting back that Panzer was talking about. I don't think the Union saw them, which is probably why.
Confederates not pushing up to line order. Again, these Confederates have a small little defilade here, which they're using pretty good use of. Even at just a defilade of 3 feet can help a lot. I don't understand why these flags are kneeling. There's, like, you can already see the flag. There's no reason to kneel, like, ever. Whatever. I do not think that is a good decision. And no matter how many people can see you, they already see your flag, even if you're kneeling. Might as well stand up and get the twice as fast respawn rate. We can see now that the Union retook these center rocks and retook their position on the center left. If they're able to drop the Confederates down to engage within the next 4 or so minutes, they would be on track to victory. But they're not going to get that from shooting.
Union go down to engaged after that failed charge. That charge probably hurt them, especially with Union trickling away and also Union being there with the CSA already having nice shots on them.
We can see here in the center a lot of Union dead in the center. So I suspect that there were a large number of skirmishing deaths there, which combined with the charge on the right, compiled into the ticket loss required to go down to engage. If you didn't know, engaged means that you've lost 25% of your tickets. So it doesn't sound very bad. Oh, you're only engaged, but that is 25% of the Union tickets gone.
Yeah,
so
and
yeah, that is pretty severe.
You also got to consider the fact that the Union has more tickets being the attacker, too. So that's just how well the rebels have done up to this point.
Union are up and over and charging, but they are extremely spread out. And I mean just so unbelievable. Like, even the groups, like, individual groups are spread out within the same group. Union artillery is still failing to hit anything substantial beside dirt. And the Confederates, oh my god, it's a column against the line. This is just horrible.
Yeah, we got a great
Horrible
view
look
from our rebel player here. In that beautiful line that he's in right now, they're just shooting guys that are trickling in.
Union pushing in on the Confederate right to try to do a little bit of a flanking maneuver. Again, it's easy to see here why the Confederates won the last one. But if the Union get more shots off with these pistols, Confederates out hitting engage. That's a very good thing for the Union, even though they are behind. Because again, the Confederates, if they hit braking, the Confederates that is, that's very good for the Union. While if the Union hits braking, that doesn't mean anything for the Confederates. So that last 25% of the tickets you have left means a lot. Union kneeling behind this rock, having better cover than the Confederates, even though they are slightly outnumbered. I imagine with their pistols and their better positioning, they might come out of this ahead. However, again, the Confederates are still numerically superior. Confederates charging, taking their
smartly charging, yeah.
Yes, Confederates taking their numerical superiority and charging with it. We can see over here from the overhead view that there's many Unions still sitting there kneeling and reloading. However, they also have pistols. Remember, the Union 4th Pennsylvania do get pistols. I think it's around half of their privates and all of their NCOs and obviously their officer. So we can see here that the Union seem to have. Okay,
they got wiped.
It looks like they got wiped, but there's also a lot of Union left alive. It's really hard to tell. Union seem to have won the position on the rocks, but seems like they're surrounded by Confederates. A very spread out charge. It's very spread out.
Can never call these type of charges early just because of how close they are. Look at all the dead bodies.
Yes, it seems like the Union decided to retreat with their flag, although he's only in quick time. I don't see why he's in quick time. He can just proceed to go double. Okay, now he's sprinting
there
instead.
He goes.
Union are all killed on the rocks, but driving the Confederates down to engage at 31 minutes, that's very good for the Union.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully the out of lines and skirmishings won't hurt either of the teams going down the line.
Yes, we can see here now Union charging out of liners in up there. I don't understand the reasoning there. Then they're missing their shots too. If you're gonna die out of line, you might as well kill somebody first. Union artillery finally killing something. It took them 15 minutes to kill something, but when they did it, they finally came in with a bang.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Very beautiful. That definitely killed a few Confederates. Now, if the Union were to charge it now, they would win, but the Union are retreating. Union do not know that they outnumber these Confederates by a lot.
Hold that.
Yeah, they don't know that if you're the Confederate. But the Confederates are holding position and the Union are retreating. Union, wow, that is just sad. Union,
yeah, for sure.
Maybe this Mr. Hakoga here with his binoculars will be able to tell his men that no, there are no Confederates there. There's very few, but he sees 4 flags and he is telling his men to retreat. Even though behind this bush we can see barely a dozen men. Oh.
All right. Rebels just looking like they're going to get the respawns there, holding that rock. Union reforming back, possibly doing another charge on the right, you think?
I can imagine. Although, obviously, it would have been very helpful for the positioning to have taken this position. If the Union now charge them out, they will get more tickets from killing more Confederates. So it won't, obviously, it would be, much better for them to have taken position then. But they may still have a light at the end of the tunnel. Union, still, they are behind on tickets. If at any moment, if the Union hits taking losses before there's around 22 minutes left, that would be, or even before 18 minutes, that'd be very devastating to their chances at victory. I can hear more Union artillery killing more men on those rocks, although Red Mist does not seem to have killed as many this time as last time. It seems to have killed a good few men, but a lot of them also fell back there. So I think that their first shot was a lot more effective than the last one. We can see here that even though there's Red Mist, there's still a substantial force here, which can be deceiving to some people.
Yeah,
I don't really know. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm a little surprised they have a decent amount still on the rocks, especially because Union have it dialed in. Looks like Union's now charging onto the rocks. Those Rebels pulling back. Interesting decision because now they're just losing the cover.
Yes, and these Confederates now holding up in an open line. However, remember, they do have slight defilade, but it's nothing significant. With the Union pistols, though, the center of this Confederate line is bound to be not only suppressed, but also very hurt. These Confederates maintaining extremely good information discipline, and all of them, although they're losing substantial men, are dying information. While the Union over there, I'm sure a good number of them are kneeling. Yeah, we can see a lot of on the corners kneeling and dying and skirmishing. So it is now Union and our Confederate artillery are both hitting the no man's land in between these two forces. Confederates charging now. Let's see if they have as much luck now as they had last time.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, again, most of the Union teams, at least crouching. Our field reporter here is in the midst of the action right now. Getting a kill, looks like going after the officer, and then finally goes down. It's quite a shame. I'm not going to call this charge this time like last time.
Yes. A lot of these melees come down very close, and it is won by half a dozen or less men. We can see here that the Union and the Confederates both had taken losses at the 26:30 timer. That is very good for the Union. Now they have 26 minutes to drive the Confederates down to breaking and possibly last stand. Not only that, but the Confederates are losing a lot of men out of lines in this melee. Even though it looks like they're going to come out on top, they overextended a lot and lost some men out of line. However, some of these men are, I would say, stupidly going back in to try to die out of line for their team. Why bother living if you're not costing your team 5 tickets, right?
That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Remember
my
this whole
goodness.
time? Oh,
Panzer
was
just
there a
got
hit?
hit by Artie. Yep.
Oof.
That's quite
Yeah,
a-
certainly this rock, once it's dialed in, it's easy to redial in. So you'll see a lot of hits right here, right behind the Confederate line. So I'll be honest, if the Confederates are touching this rock, they're a lot more safe than when there's a lot of them. So when there's a small group like this, you might only see 1 or 2 die, but you'll still get a red mist. When there's a giant group here, like all the 4 flags up, you'll see like 10 die. But the same effect will be seen by the Confederates, or by the artillerists, just some red mist. So the artillerists aren't really able to gauge how many men they're hitting at one time. So they might be continuing to hit that. Maybe that's actually the main point of the Confederates shooting, isn't to because again, I don't really think that giving up the rocks is helping them at all, as much as it is just making them not getting hit by artillery. Certainly, if they have both of their lines here, it would be very hard. What impressed me a lot was last charge. They were in a 2-column line. That was beautiful. Or 2 rank lines. Sorry, that's the word, not column.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that. Let's go to our Union field reporter Scott's here. How's the Union feeling after knocking the Rebels down to taking losses?
We're feeling pretty good about it, to be honest. Morale's still high, even though we haven't been the most successful with our game plan, but we're still doing what we can and trying to keep morale as high as possible to try and win this round, try to turn it around.
All right. Thank you for that information. Back to Sevi here.
Yes. So the thing that gets me more excited about rounds like this, where it's very close, is that the unit do have an opportunity to drive them down to breaking from afar. It takes very long to get a lot of ticket kills, like tickets down from shooting. Remember, if you're in formation, you only lose 1 ticket when you die, as opposed to 3 when skirmishing and 5 while out of line. So melees oftentimes lose a lot more tickets per death on average than shooting. I would say a lot more. Meanwhile, yeah, we can see here, unit artillery hitting the rock directly, killing no men. That's one of the downsides of shooting at a rock formation. Meanwhile, if these Union men were to charge, they would also have the dilemma of possibly hitting themselves down to breaking and then final push. So they have a very tight line to break between tickets and killing tickets and losing tickets. We can see here the AP's IVB is pushed up in a extremely dense line in the center. I don't understand why they'd be that tight. We can see over here on the left with more artillery shooting back and forth. Now both batteries engaging counter battery, so pretty much just shooting each other in a tight circle, or what's it called, a closed loop of tickets. And again, the Union in the center have not pushed forward and have not taken any of these significant positions yet. Ooh, who are these guys advanced really far forward? This group, looks like the 20th New York has advanced all the way on the left and is charging out the rear of this 7th Massachusetts.
They're clearly surprised. You got a little nice toxicity there. Always lovely here.
What would a War of Rights wipe be, like a wipeout without some toxicity? We can see now that the Union do have some interesting positions where they have almost an encirclement, or like an L around the Confederates, but they do have a lot of dirt in between them. Again, from afar, it looks like there's really easy to shoot, but these guys can barely see the guys over that hill. Differences of just 1 or 2 yards in elevation can make a lot of difference. Union artillery hitting more on top of the rocks, very loud inside that group. I couldn't imagine how they can hear themselves think. Receiving much fire from the Union on the fence line. We can see now the Union are in control of the point, and now I just heard a Confederate officer yelling at his men, west, west, west. So maybe they see some men on the west.
20th
see
New
now
York
that
just
yes.
charged up, yeah.
Yes, to the Confederates west is the 20th. And also over here farther west of them is the 1st Delaware, now shooting at the Confederates artillery positions, and the skirmishers protecting them. So a bit of a skirmisher duel here, like we saw at the beginning of the game. Interesting.
That's kind of important that the 1st Delaware is there, because otherwise the 20th New York would be completely flanked by Artie. I mean, I don't know what
we can
Artie's
see
shooting
here.
at, but yeah.
Yes, we can see here that the 20th New York is holding a position, which I remember very vividly. The prior Union 2nd were holding as Confederates on this map. So the 20th New York, very accustomed to this position, are now shooting into the Confederates. which are now holding as on the far left of the Confederate line, far right of the Union. Confederates have some great defilades over here, but the Union also have a good skirmishing formation. So it'll be interesting to see who hits breaking first. Now, the Union in control of point. I don't think that they're going to cap early, but if they do, that would definitely force the Confederates to charge. I bet that they're hoping that the Confederates will hit breaking before that, though.
I agree. I don't know why you would want to cap point right now as the Union, especially with 20 minutes left. And yeah,
I'm usually a fan of early capping, but they control the point right now. They should not early cap right now.
Yeah, especially because we saw how the Rebels were ahead of tickets, at least going from battle ready to engaged. But now the Union seemed to have tied them when it went to taking losses, so Union might be ahead right now.
Yes. What I expect is that at around maybe 2/3, maybe 3/4 cap. No, they're falling back now. They're falling back really early. I think it's a bit too early. Personally, I would have capped it up to 2/3 Union before I fell back. I think what's going to happen now is the same could happen in the Colquitt's defense game that we played the other week back, where the Union had full control point but didn't early cap it, meaning that the Confederates were able to get on when they hit breaking. I think the same thing is going to happen here. I think that when the Confederates hit breaking, they're going to be able to get control of this point. And I think that when that happens, the Union might have to have a desperate charge to get back on it. You can see here, though, that the Union are still slowly capping it up. Maybe they are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. It looks like it because they have one man. Ooh, I don't think that he's being ordered. He doesn't have tags. I think he's just up here as a Rambo. He could lose this game for the Union right now, and that'd be really funny if a Rambo lost the game for the Union. However, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's under orders of his captain.
Possibly. We'll see. A very slow clap from the Union. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when the Rebels hit breaking.
Oh, no, he's just
Oh, my goodness. 20th New York got decimated by Artie, at least in the middle. I saw a lot of blood, but like
I only
said,
saw,
probably
there's only two dead bodies here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep, giant blood, 2 corpses. Again, that is still around 6 tickets, assuming they were both in skirmishing, but not, definitely not enough to put them out of commission. They still have the roster, and they still have a large skirmish line here. Again, still firing down those Confederates. If at any time here the Confederates were to hit breaking, the Union would all definitely pounce on this point and try to cap it as quick as possible. But I don't think that they would have enough time. I think in the event where the Confederates hit breaking, the Union would not have enough time to cap it before the Confederates get up there and, well, stop it. Hashtag stop the cap, right?
Yeah, stop the count. Yeah, I mean, 20th New York, I don't think 20th New York would be able to hold the Rebels, the whole Rebel team back before the rest of their Union team got there. It might be close. It might be close.
We do see that the timer is slowly ticking up, which means that they have a couple of men strategically placed on point to try to get it more capped up, like I was saying earlier, up to maybe 2/3, maybe 3/4. We have a Major Murphy and a certain Captain McPhail. He's saying start the pre-cap. He's saying start the pre-cap. They are starting to pre-cap. Again, pre-capping is when you get it almost full. That way, when they hit breaking, you won't have to deal with the counterattack. So now we can see that these, in contrast to some of the recent events that we've seen, this is very coordinated and very organized. Confederates now charging the heights. I think this is a bad idea. What do you think?
I mean, it might get them a little closer to point. It might knock the Union down to breaking with those skirmishing deaths. I can kind of see it. Rebels aren't charging with their whole team, though.
Come in.
Our frontline reporter for the CSA team is charging in right now with that group.
Confederates hit breaking. Union, are they breaking the charge? They are now breaking and charging on the point, Union.
Yeah.
20th New York is bogging down the Confederate advance. The Confederates seem to have damned themselves there by charging over there. Will they have enough time to get on point to stop this Union cap? I do not think that they will. The 20th New York successfully held them off. Looks like they did lose the charge, but they held them off at a long enough time for this group down here. Which group is this? The 5th North Carolina to cap the point and win the game.
That'll do that first round.
Very interesting.
All right, so now we are at our halftime currently, so we're going to go through everybody's thoughts, see what they thought about the first round. We'll start with our announcer, Sevi. What'd you think?
Well, I thought that the both sides played well that game. The Union were able to use the tickets, and at the end of there, they were really well pre-capping, really well everything. And yeah, I thought that was really cool to see that the 20th New York skirmish line was able to successfully hold off that Confederate push long enough for the Union team to capture the point. The Rebels also did really well on the Union right, the Confederate left, forming that second line behind the line to get some good kills. So yeah, that's my opinion.
All right, thank you, Sevi. We'll move on to Panzer next. What did you think of that first round as the CSA frontline reporter?
I thought that map went pretty well. You know, sucks to lose it on like a kind of a technicality like that. Pre-capping's always left a sour taste in my mouth. Besides that, it was a pretty good round.
All right, thank you. Now to our Union field reporter, Scott. What did you think of that round from the Union perspective?
I thought it was a very hard fought map right there. Our original plan was to have a stunt force on the right and then assault the center, hold the center, and use the right to try to draw them out to hold the center. The right caught us off guard with that reserve unit, so we had to completely change our plan there, but it came out in the end good for us, but it was definitely a very hard fought win for us. We'll see what the next round holds, see if it's that hard of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a fun round to watch. Great arty from the Union and the CSA. It was a fun round to watch, I'd say. We'll see what happens in our next round's Hooker's Push.
I would also like to comment that it was interesting to me at the end how the Confederates did at the beginning of the game have a lot less losses than the Union, but by the end of it they had almost like 50 more. Just showing how the Union's holding in the center and really like getting a nice formation around the Confederates in that hole drove them down. So now spawning into the Hooker's Push, there will be like 2.5 minutes of walking. You know what? For all the Battleline Network viewers out there, I'm gonna show you one of my Sevi secrets.
No way, I cannot wait to see
Yeah, I'm gonna
this.
show you all a Sevi secret. So if you can see my screen,
Yep, we cut the
so
screen.
if you're spawning in here and you want to get to point really fast, but you also want to reload on bayonet, you should immediately sprint. Don't reload, don't bayonet, sprint all the way to this fence over here next to the corn. Then get a reload and bayonet and then double click through the corn. By the time you're up here, you will be just as tired as a guy who double clicked the whole way. So it is actually faster to sprint all the way up to this fence, reload bayonet, and then double click the rest of the way. Oh, yes. So now we can see with 43 minutes on the clock exactly now, that both teams are just now, they should be finishing up the reloads and bayonets and starting their maneuvers. Confederates have a much more, they can do a lot more moves, while the Union are pretty much restricted to either going on the right or the left. It's kind of hard to advance this in the center. The rock formations, which they're most likely to attack, are these two on the right, which are good because this one on the right over here is partially on point, and the Confederates are likely to not give that up without a fight. Meanwhile, over here on the Union left, we can see two other rock formations around 130 yards away from those points on the top of the hill, maybe 180 at some points. And also the Confederates are not willing to give those up quickly. Confederates, though, they might be caught into I just heard a guy say stay. He said stay in skirmishing mode. I don't know why he would say that when they can just stand up and stay in formation. Again, skirmishing is 3 times information, but going to the 5 times of out of line is worse, but not as bad as one would think in comparison. So now we can see here that the first group in the Union Vanguard is the 5th North Carolina. The same group who captured point last game is leading the thing in this game. We can see over here that the rest of the groups are following closely behind. Let's see, what unit got the Sharps rifles, do you think? The 5th North Carolina, oh, that's why they're first. So the reason why they are in front is because they have the Sharps model breech loading rifle. You can see here with their Sharp nice green uniform of the United States Sharps shooters and the nice Sharps pattern rifles. So while these other guys have to spend 20 seconds ramming a ball down, they get to spend 10 seconds putting it in the rear. That came out, whatever.
That's a quote.
We're going to ignore that. Oh, man. We can see that the Confederates actually going off on the left a little bit here. I remember seeing this a while ago, but I don't see it as much as I would like to, because I love this shot when they do this. They go over here in the woods. It looks like they're falling back. But we can see here, a couple guys in these woods. It's very hard to see this early in the day. Remember, this map is the first battle of what most people consider the actual Battle of Antietam. The Eastwood skirmish is more like a preparation for the battle. This is the first major push, with Hooker's corps advancing into this wheat field. Again, this wheat field would be a site of unimaginable horror later on in the battle. But at the first, the unit actually pushed through it without major resistance. In real life, they got up to around this fence, up and over it, and the Confederates over that hill rose up from their kneeling position and fired a volley right into him.
Oh,
yeah, it was. I've read a lot of accounts of that. It was systematic killing. But for now, we can see that the Confederates are holding in a much more conventional position, much more skirmish-like position, which is what we're playing. We're in the alpha. We're in skirmishing mode. So now the Union pushing right through the same cornfield that would later see many deaths in the 14th Brooklyn and the rest of the Iron Brigade.
Yeah, for sure. One of the big things about this map, too, is you can see it's almost taken the Union now 4 minutes to get up to that snake fence that Sevi was talking about. So if Rebels can wipe whole Union teams in charges or whatnot, that'll be very huge for this map because it takes a while for the Union to get back up, as we can see. Now, Union are pushing up to that first set of rocks.
I expect to see some losses, but if they hold on those rocks, they might be able to bait a lot of Confederate shots, which would let these Union men behind them get a lot better things. We can see the Union more spread out now than they were at the beginning of this push. Some in the center, some in the left. Let's see which unit is over here on the left. This left is usually very pivotal. This left is the 5th North Carolina with their Sharps pattern rifles, who I'm sure will deliver an immense amount of firepower onto those Confederates. Again, one of the things about this map that you really don't notice is that you have to go up there, up and over this fence in order to see over this little hill right here. This hill is big. I almost feel like Word Right sometimes says the hills are a little bit too big. Because, I don't know, you just don't hear of historical accounts of people behind, like, 3-foot tall inclines out of nowhere.
That'd be funny if someone had a historical text. Yeah, I was at this location.
We did kneeling volleys.
It was up to my nose.
The Confederates are open on this right flank. Like I was about to say, the Union are able to advance over here. They're out of bounds for a small amount of time, but once they get over here, over that crack in the wall, they're in formation. Ooh, they lost one man there. That's a cool death. The Confederate cannons over here, of course, still in skirmish mode, are very vulnerable to Union bayonets. Well, they're always vulnerable to Union bayonets, but you know what I mean. Especially vulnerable. More Confederates. I don't know where these guys were hiding. I just heard one say Union flag on the fence line, which means that they definitely hear these guys and see them.
Did that
Confederate artillery? No, it doesn't look like it. Union, where'd they go? Where'd the Union go? Oh, Union are on the battery. I lost them there for a second. Now, in the rear is the first, it looks like the 1st Georgia. Yes, the 1st Georgia. And they are, looks like the Union killed some men, but now they are dead. Now we're up to 230 men on the server. Wow, that was that charge. I don't know if the Union are bound to repeat it. If the 20th New York over here loses their flag, they'll have to do that entire 4-minute march again, unless they do the patented, the run up and then bayonet and reload. Oh, the flag bird turned around for no reason. He could have ran away.
He could have made it.
Poor guy.
And he
could have made it.
down.
He could have made it. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, this is if anybody plays this game for a lot, this might seem familiar. This right here is Hagerstown Turnpike. More Union filling into this right a little bit late to save their 20th New York comrades, but the 1st Maryland is up and over these fences.
Yeah,
again, you can see how you see over here it says you're deserting, but over here it doesn't. It's just how this map boundary works.
Our Rebel player right now is currently in a melee right now. It looks to be on the right side of the battlefield from what I can see.
It looks like, yes, it looks like the 5th Florida tried to up and over and charge these top of the hill rocks, but they did not see much success. Looks like they were outnumbered by a lot. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah,
more Union saw the bottom of the hill.
And it looks like on the Artie, there's intense firefights going on that side with our Union perspective there. His guys are behind some rocks near the Hagerstown Turnpike, or basically almost on that road, and are taking shots at the Rebel Artie and the guys that charged the 20th New York out.
Yeah, don't ever forget that the Union have really good shots over here because they have the Lorenz rifles. If you didn't know, the 2nd Wisconsin do have the Lorenz rifles, which many players prefer the sights on that. So although they aren't very much more accurate, because rifle technology in the Civil War wasn't exactly the best, although they weren't the most accurate, like obviously they're good, but they're not. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. The Union definitely preferred to aim down those sights than the Springfield sights. One little pet peeve I have with this game is that if you look in the bottom, I don't know if it picks up on camera, but in game it says that the Lorenz model 1854 from Austria uses a compression ball, which is true. That's what the Austrians use in it. But almost all of them are rebored out to use the standard mini balls. I don't really know why there's a difference there, but whatever. Of course, the compression ball was very interesting in itself. It is like it's similar to the mini ball in that a blown out bottom helps engage the rifling of the rifle, but instead of the bottom being hollow, the bottom is full, and I'm pretty sure one of the rings is the thing that goes out and sticks into the rifling to give the bullet its twist. Confederates have standard Enfields, Springfields, and Springfield muskets. So we can see here that the Union back to their old position, 3 minutes 50, very reminiscent of the first game where an early advance is petered out, but then the Union go back to their positions and start shooting. I bet the Confederates are hoping, they're sitting there praying that it does not play out the same way and that they are not left controllers of the point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Especially, they can't lose these rock positions because otherwise they got to fall back, and that's just a mess.
Hmm. One of the I remember during a campaign event a long time ago, um, when we were playing Confederate, we did end up losing control of point, and in order to try to win off of, like, remember, the counterattack is very bad for a lot of teams. The counterattack can lead to the Confederates. Of course, it does help them get back their ticket numbers when they recapture the point, but it also means that they have to now attack the other team with more tickets, with a better position, with everything. Anyways, we found no other way, so we fell back all the way over there into those woods, and we waited for the Union to go up and capture the point. It took us a while, but they eventually did it. I still think we lost, but it was a fun event.
Yeah, I see. All right, we're gonna cut around to our frontline reporters here. See how we're doing. First, we'll go to Panzer. How is it? How is the rebel right doing right now, especially after that charge that you guys held?
Well, you can ask this fellow right here how the rest of the right is doing. The right is doing quite swimmingly, wouldn't you say, sir? Oh, I'm sorry. He can't really respond right now. He's a bit preoccupied.
I can see that. That's hilarious. Good luck. Thank you for that report. And we'll cut to Scott's right now on the Union side. He's dead.
Hey, Scott, is that you?
It's going really good over here. It's a lot of fighting, a lot of suppression, and I just went down to show it. We've been trading with these people over here. It's a good fight.
That's good. Thank you for that report. Savvy's looking at some artillery.
Yeah, I always like watching artillerists like set the fuse like 50 yards, 70 yards, 100 yards too far, and it bounces right off the Union and goes like, you know what I mean. Anyways, the Confederates are in full control of this right flank, very far away from the point though. If the Union were to make a concentrated push on point, they'll be without these two units. Which, it could go either way. The Union are also spread out trying to counter them. A lot of Confederates over held up behind this position. Let's see, how many, the Union have artillery too. They have the Thompson and the Matthews batteries. Let's see how many men are over here on these batteries. None on this one. The other one's better though, if I recall, so there might be more men on that one. This should be over here. Am I getting it mixed up? Where is it?
It should be in the middle where you're looking at right now, I would think. That's
I thought there was two batteries.
Oh, I might be wrong. I haven't played
I don't
already
know.
on this map.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Miller's cornfield. Maybe I'm thinking that there's an extra battery right there. Anyways, the Union battery, wherever they are not putting much fire. Where the fuck are they? That was a Union battery.
There
they are. There they are. Oh my god, I'm blind. So now we can see the Union battery very, very far away. This, oh, they got hit. Huh, interesting. I don't know why the Confederates are buying a counter battery. Those guys up to 400 yards away to some Confederate units. I think they're only like 300 away from point though.
Yeah.
We can see now that the Union, while we were talking, did take this position on the Union left Confederate
I
right.
think the rebels did
without much-
fall back. The rebels did fall back. Our field line reporter, I think I saw a screen. They fell back there and allowed the Union to get that position.
Yes.
Beautiful arty shot there.
Well,
By the
Red
rebels.
missed killing. I only saw that one person right there dead. I think they only killed one man there, or maybe two. The other man had no idea how he lived. Yeah, I think the Confederates fell back too. Looks like that's what happened. So the Confederates did not have much men to hold up there, and the ones who were holding seemed to have lost to the Union. Now we can see here that the AP's 20th Maine and IVB are holding up here alongside the 10th Georgia, and that's about it. And the 5th North Carolina with the sharp rifles too. They now hold this flank. The Confederates are pushed back far over here. Again, this isn't a horrible position. They got some good cover. They aren't really utilizing it though. They're using bushes instead of the deflate. Remember, bushes do not stop bullets. It's a free tip there for you. You don't got to pay for that one.
Wait, they don't?
Yeah. There seems to be some discussion within the Warwitz community if a leaf can stop a bullet or not. Anyways, you can see in the center though, the center where the charge earlier petered out, the 1st Maryland and the 1st Delaware are still holding firm against the larger Confederate force, but again, the Confederates have no reason to advance in them, so we can expect that to happen. At this point in the game, I can still see it going either way. I mean, the Union have failed to get them down to engage before the 30-minute timer. But at the same time, you know what? A 20-minute engaged, or a 28-minute engaged isn't that bad. A 20-minute would be horrible. But 28 minutes, that's survivable. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Union still can win this very easily. I mean, I would assume at least some of the teams are close to engage, especially after that first charge we saw. Because I'm assuming the Union charge on the Rebel Arty got some skirmishing and out of line deaths possibly, because the full Rebel reinforcements didn't come in until after they wiped the Arty, from what I saw.
Mm-hmm. We can see now that the Union, from their early advance on the left and now advance even further up onto the Confederates' far right flank. We can see that the 5th North Carolina is holding with their Sharps rifles superior firepower against the Confederates. Again, they are outnumbered though pretty severely. and there's a hill in between them. Which again, I cannot say for 1,000th time, this slight defilade makes all the difference. The Union can barely see while they're kneeling, especially. Confederate, that guy said stay arty. Alright, I think that the 20th New York was able to see stay arty virgins. I don't really know what the Union commander is saying in the chat, or one of the Union commanders, but he seems to say something about the artillery. Union now advancing towards the center. It seems like they've spun a small detachment of the 1st Delaware onto point. Maybe the rest of the 1st Delaware guys will catch up later. Ooh, that was interesting. I think that was a friendly. Cool.
Possibly.
So a 4-man line got turned to a 3-man line, and well, they're all out of line, so it doesn't matter though, because well, it does matter, but they're the attackers. They can afford to lose more tickets. We can see over here that the rest of that group with the 1st Maryland, again, it's only like 6 men. The Confederates, if they want to, could charge them out, but why would they bother? You know, they got no reason to charge them.
Yeah,
live by here, some folks say.
Yeah, they could lose too, and then just take more ticket losses.
20th New York over here on the far right. I can hear them yelling at each other, but they are not through that hill able to hit these guys over here very accurately. It'd be a very hard shot to hit. The Union seem to have up and over onto the hill. The Confederates falling back. Maybe it's a charge? No, the rest of the Union advanced from their rock positions, and the Union seem to have fallen back or died. Confederates now holding back on this rock formation, where we do see them somewhat often, but the Union to advance this far on the left, I have not seen this in a long time.
I would agree.
Very aggressive move by the Union, and by default, as the attackers, aggressive means good. Let's see if they.
Surprisingly, the rebels haven't hit engaged yet, even though we got almost 28 minutes left now.
What we've seen in both these games is that the Confederates, this first score, is able to do some good maintaining of information. So even though that they have lost positions, they have been able to stay information while doing so and falling back in order. Too often when we see people fall back, you know, half the guys stay back and like, oh, I just want to finish my reload, sir. And next thing you know, they just cost their team 5 tickets. These guys, I have not seen many of that. So it's just a lot of very good positioning, very good falling back, very good, well, discipline in staying in formation. Of course, this guy up here, they're in skirmishing, so they're not exactly information, but you hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they're behind the rocks, so they have good cover. Rebels doing a good job.
Both sides hitting engage at the 27-minute mark. Both sides almost exactly the same second.
That's crazy. I haven't seen that too often where they both go to the same thing. Actually, we saw that earlier tonight with them going to taking losses, basically.
There's like a slight difference between them because guys don't really often die at the same time. But what this means for our viewers at home is that both teams have expended 25% of their available tickets. So that is, again, like I said earlier, generally good for the attackers if both of them are even. So the attackers now with a slight upper hand. Again, they're even on tickets, but that is good for the attackers. Now they hold the far left and they hold the center right. So they could start sending some guys to point. But remember, the main reason why this map is a little bit easier for the defenders is that they can hold point from these rocks. I would say around half of these members, of the 1st Georgia and the rest of the units over here, around dissected by that flag bearer are on point. So they'd have to have more men than that on the point to start capping it. Confederates are able to hold this point from that superior position, and unlike in Pryford, where they were pushed back and the Union quickly grabbed control of point and were able to capture it whenever they wanted, you don't see that as often on this map. The Confederates have to do something very long to lose those rocks.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see why the Union haven't charged up to those second set of rocks yet, because usually when I've played this in the past, we've charged up. I wonder if a server being a higher population has to do with any of this.
That could be it. I mean, we do see a lot of Confederates behind here, and last time that the Union advanced, they didn't even have a chance. And there's upwards of like 25, 30, maybe around 25 on these rocks. Union choosing instead to advance on the far left. That's we caught before their charge. You can see over here that they are getting around this 4th Texas. 4th Texas not able to retreat this time. They have to hold their position or die trying. Union, half the Union teams seem to be charging here, including the Sharps riflemen. And wow, they are getting a good member of these Confederates. Looks like the Union are winning. Looks like the Union have almost completely held those rocks, and they even killed the flag bearer. I don't think a single Confederate was able to survive that. Not one. That's insane.
That's huge for the Union, especially at this point in the game. They needed some huge momentum swing, and I think this will get them there. Now
that was we can see over here that we can see over here that the 5th North Carolina, the sharpshooters Murphy, is now on the Confederate rear. I just heard them say take aim, fire on the cannons, and oh, you saw that guy die? Oh
geez, another one falls.
I saw him fall over really slow, right? Like that was he was a bit of a fucking dramatist. Confederates now holding up a lot more men over here on these rocks. Yeah. soccer players when they a fucking blade of grass hits them in the face.
They're done.
Confederates, as if a yin and yang, are repulsing a Union charge on the Confederate far left, a Union far right. Confederates seem to be advancing slightly. Nope, they're instead moving to their right towards the center.
Probably to reinforce that position in case the Union charge from both sides, because now the Union can charge and front and from behind.
We can see over there a lot of them regrouping, respawning off of those flag bearers, and killing off those artillerists. I don't know why the artillerists keep trying to come up. I think that they're just... I don't see why they would keep coming up just to die, you know, in skirmishing.
I think they can take the whole
are
team
these...
on.
Are these
Wait,
Union? Yeah, those are Union. The Union charged them out. We're
Yeah,
looking.
look at that
That's
CSA already
hilarious.
there with their
Yeah, look at
rifles.
this, look at this Confederate. Yeah, no, I said that and I saw the hat and I was like, wait a minute, that's not a Confederate. He has
Something ain't
a
right.
cool looking hat. Both those guys missing. Maybe these are Confederates, but they're aiming.
Oh yeah, rebels.
Oh, they are North
rebels
Carolina. Yeah,
charging.
rebels on rebels. Oh, rebel captain
Oh.
just died after he tried to pull out his pistol and failed. These sharp riflemen are having to hold off a Union charge with the 5th North Carolina not coming in to reinforce.
Looks like both teams.
The rest of the
a decent
Union
part are
coming in the
charging.
rear.
I think
Yeah,
Union
5th
have more
North
men.
Carolina. Oh yeah, Union. Well, yeah, Union actually have 7 more men now. They started off the game with 20 less, and now they're 7 more. It's weird how kind of stuff like that plays out throughout games. I guess some people had to come in late. We can see over here on this flank, a lot more Confederates are dead than earlier. Again, the Confederate charges on the not the Confederate charges, the Union charges being repulsed by the Confederates over there definitely hurt them. And now we can see Confederates being charged from 2 sides, completely sandwiched, pistol shots going off, bayonets being stabbed, people yelling. It's pure chaos over here. Let's try to get zoomed in, see some specifics. I hear some music and just an insane amount of blood. They killed almost all the Confederates, very few running away.
Let y'all know, be AFK for a minute.
All right, you're good. You're good.
We can see now that the
Scots, how was that charge, man? You were in the midst of it.
It was awesome, man. We did exactly what we wanted to do. Take these rocks up here. We converged on them. It was perfectly executed.
Yeah, for sure. That was a great view from above and from your first-person view. Back to Sevi here.
We can see that the Union are now going over here to finish the job they started at the beginning of the game and to finally kill the rest of these Confederate artillerymen. However, they had some flag bearers over here, and in the meantime, they have gotten some respawns. None of them be shooting buck and ball, though, a major downside in my opinion. The Confederates should be stacking buck and ball a lot more, I think.
Yeah, I think the rebels.
Oh, I
again
sort
are
of
gonna
got
get
yelled
wiped.
buck and ball, but it was a bit late. Confederate flag bearers, I bet that they're praying to get out, but looks like one of them got stabbed. They might be able to escape unharmed. Well, unharmed. Well, I guess a bayonet wound in your side is unharmed in this game. Union now early capping the game because the Confederates spawned so far away that it'd be unlikely that they would be able to get a lot of kills in enough time to knock them down. Ooh. Huzzah, huzzah. We can see here the double huzzahs because the Confederates had taken losses not even a half second after the Union captured the point. But the Union definitely wished that they waited those extra 2 seconds.
Yeah,
but
especially
how
with
could
these
they have
rebels
known?
now up. Yeah, for sure.
Union now holding on the center of this point. Again, the benefit of capping early is forcing the Confederates to come out early and fight you. But I don't think that they were expecting the Confederates to be taking losses just so early.
Yeah, if I were the Union right now, unless you're trying to hold cap and win the game now, probably just pull off and let them retake it, and then they're out in the field, easy shots, knock them down to breaking possibly. If they hold back, just recap and repeat.
Well,
actually,
I think
they'll go
the
back
only
up
issue
to
about
engage.
that is that, yeah, I think the issue about that is that these rocks over here are on point, so they would have to give up these rocks if they wanted to lose the point.
I see. I also forgot that the defenders go back up to the attacking ticket amount. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so at the very least, the Union have to put up enough of a fight to knock themselves down with taking losses to make any of this worth it. The Confederates have 10 minutes to charge out those the Union holding these rocks right here and the positions they were earlier holding in order to win this game. I think that the momentum is in favor of the Union, but the Confederates still stand a chance.
I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, once the rebels lost that charge on the right side, it just all came coming down, and yeah, Union now have a firm position throughout the map.
With all this talk about firm positions and coming down, you know, I definitely do agree that the Confederates are not. If I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would put a lot of money on the Union right now. But that being said, the underdog may still be able to win this because the Confederates, remember, now have cannons not even maybe 70, maybe 80 yards away max from the Union position. if they shoot a couple of canister shots in there, the Union lose all of their well, not all their stamina. They go really suppressed, and that could hurt them. That could hurt them. The Union,
for
however,
sure.
still have these Sharps rifles and are forming a skirmishing line to the Union left, which I think is a good idea. That is definitely the correct move that they should be making right now, to spread out their fire, make it a lot harder for the Confederate artillery and their musketmen to hit them. Confederate advance on the Union left now seems to be for the purpose of volleying. No, yeah, they moved up to reload. I don't see why they would move up before reloading. It looks like going into an independent fire now. That's interesting. That's interesting. An
Yeah, for
independent
sure.
fire with a Sharps rifle force that's kneeling while you're standing up. Again, these guys are doing a great job staying in formation, but why do they care? I don't see why they're shooting them down. Like, they should be charging right now, the Confederates.
Yeah, if they want to recap, shooting the. See, the thing is, if you wipe out the Union here, you can recap the point because the Union team will have to respawn and take a couple minutes to get back there. Shooting them down ain't gonna do much. They're just gonna respawn on the flags. I think Union's just going to win the game.
Confederates are smarter than me. They know exactly the boundaries of this capture point, and they are just barely on it. This is actually, you know what? I forgot that the capture point goes this far out. You can see the boundary here is marked by these sets of grass. And yeah, the Confederates now outnumber the Union on point. Union are pretty much sitting there like, God damn it, I forgot about that. And now they're moving more men over here to this skirmish line. Remember, the Union do have more men over here. But these guys over here on these rocks, these members of the 14th Tennessee and the AP's IVB are not on the point. They're not on the point. You're only on the point if you're to the left of those rocks. So now this large Confederate line standing in formation, it may capture the point very slowly, but it may capture the point back. However, I also think that the Union now are able to realize it, and they're able to fix their mistake. So I don't see this actually working. Yeah, you see, the Confederates now are no longer capturing the point. So I don't really know why the Confederates would do that. It's a very cool move. It's a very flashy move, but it doesn't actually do much to win the game because the Union moved almost all of the men, in fact, all of their men off of these rocks, except this one brave man. Oh, I'm sorry, no, not all of them. I just couldn't see him from far away, except these around 5 men.
Yeah, now would be a good opportunity for possible rebel respawns, assuming they're in the middle of the back area of the rebels. They could charge up and take those rocks now because the Union fell back out in the middle of the open.
However, if the Confederates saw that, I'm sure that they wouldn't let that last long. Union charging? Oh,
Yeah,
Union advanced onto the Confederate rear. The Union who were holding on the rocks now pushed up into the rear of the Confederates, and the skirmishers over there holding. It's very hard to see. The right click isn't working very well to see the flags. We can see that the Confederate respawns are now engaging with what group is this? This is the 10th Georgia and the AP's IVB. Union now taking losses, so they could lose point and not really care about it because they would simply have to recap it. The Confederates over here holding on point. They're not winning on point against the skirmish line. And the Union up here on these Confederate cannons, who were able to advance up there for a short period of time, seem to have completely repulsed the Confederate respawns, which I'm not surprised. Those Confederates have been walking for a long time. Their stamina was low. They even lost their flag. So this group over here, the 20th, and this group over the AP's IVB and the 10th Georgia, were able to completely kill that rebel reinforcement group. Now the Confederates, the other group, coming in a bit late, I don't think they're going to do much against these groups.
Yeah,
I think the IVB and the 20th are going to be able to kill them really well. Ooh, did you see that? That Confederate cannon fly?
Oh, jeez, it's still going.
You've seen a butterfly, you've seen a horse fly, but you ever seen a cannon fly? If the Confederates are able to, yeah, I've seen a lot of cannons fly. If the Confederates were able to actually sync up their charges there, I think they would have had a good chance of killing this Union group over here. But it looks like the IVB and the 10th Georgia were able to successfully hold them off. I think that the rest of that advance, yes. The rest of the advance is now over here on the Confederate left, the Union far right, which is the 20th New York, the Maryland, and the Florida, facing off against the 7th Massachusetts. Confederates hitting braking doesn't do much against them, but it does show that the momentum is not in their favor. Let's see what Oster's over here looking in these binoculars. We can see that the First Corps battery is looking right at those Yankees, and what does he see? He sees nothing good. He sees Yankees, which I'm sure he doesn't like seeing Yankees.
No way, Yankees are on the point. I would have thought.
Yes, he says. So Yankees now are in full control at this point. They have complete, like, what are these guys shooting at? What are they shooting at? Are there Confederates over there? Oh yeah, there's a couple of them over there.
Or just
Nah, there's a couple on those rocks. To be honest, I don't see why the skirmish line's still over here where they are. It's pretty much a useless point now. If they advance over here to this ridge on top of this line, or on top of this hill, it'd be a very good position to hold off any more Confederate reinforcements against.
Yeah.
And Yeah. At around this point in the battle, I don't think it was rain as hard as it is in game. In fact, I don't think it was raining at all. But at this point in the battle, a Confederate charge pushed the Union all the way back through the corn, and the Confederate charge or Union countercharge all the way back. But we do not see that here. In this scenario, we definitely see the Union holding on the other side of the cornfield, much to the Confederates' chagrin. Confederates holding no significant positions down to the bottom of this hill. Again, remember, well, I think it's overplayed how far, if I press F2, you can see it really clearly. The Confederate respawns is, I wouldn't say as far, but they are also far away, and the Union respawns are far away. People really play into the fact that the Union far away, that the Union has to spawn really far away if they lose their flags, but so do the Confederates. So if the Union pushed up and took that ridge, the Confederates would stand practically no chance unless they were able to move around to recapture the point. But it's not that the Union seem to just hold over here, and I don't understand what this line does. But you know what? To be honest, although I don't think that this is the best thing they could ever be doing in the world, it is still, in my opinion, sufficient. I don't think the Confederates hold much of a chance here anymore. What do you think?
Yeah, the Rebels probably got one good charge left in them with only 4 minutes left on that gold timer. One good charge, and then if Union holds decently, then they'll win the game unless they screw up horribly.
I'm sure that's what these Confederates are thinking. They have 108 men at their disposal, and looks like a significant portion of them are holed up here. I don't actually see all 108. I don't know where a lot of the Confederates are. Looks like they have a lot of men spread out through those fields, like a lot of 1 or 2 man groups. If they weren't in counterattack, that would be devastatingly hurting their tickets. Confederates now pushing up towards the center. I heard them saying northeast in game, but they're going a little more right of that. And it looks like they're planning on going up by the same position they took earlier, instead of over there on that ridge. Union, now we can see on the top of this ridge, as I was saying earlier, and they'll be able to get good shots in them. Union holding these rocks in this ridge, wheeling around, and they are holding a much further up position. So their plan, I can see, is to hold here and to try to hit them from here. I hear them saying skirmish formation. They can afford to lose lots of tickets now, and they might as well make it hard for them to hit. With less than 3 minutes left on the timer, Confederate artillery hitting a rock and killing nobody. The fuse was set around a second too long, and the Confederate push with their flag bearers, very tight, very organized. Let's see if it's able to dislodge the Union. You can see that Major General Jackson is leading his line, and there's a slight amount of melee up here. I saw Mr. JMP over here kill a man with his sword. Holding up here on these cannons, using them as makeshift cover. These guys are shooting these Yankees. Using these cannons, maybe they'll be able to get a couple shots off, but I don't think that they'll actually be able to do anything.
Yeah, no,
maybe they're gonna. Maybe they're trying to go to this line. I think they're gonna try to go this line. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's only 2 minutes left. I think they're gonna try to go back up here where they were earlier on the same line, and marked out by the Confederate bodies is still here. But again, marked out by this set of grass. Instead, they're actually holding at the top of that hill and taking a lot of information losses. Again, they're facing off against sharp rifles who can reload every 10 seconds. They're facing off against 13 of them. 13, right? Let me check. I need to be right on this. Oh no, these guys have 19. Oh, it's 13 cavalry, 19 these guys. So let them go on point. They're gonna take it. One of the men just said. He came up here on the right shoulder shift. Some try to tell them that doesn't do anything. Fall back to reload. They're saying a bit late. They have lost a significant portion of their men. I'm willing to say they lost half of their men right there in that shootout. Let's see how bad the Yankees are faring.
Yeah.
Yankees in the skirmish line.
Yeah, they got a minute and a half left. They're only gonna get probably maybe 10 more respawns that can actually do something effective.
So any kill they get now is practically last stand for both teams. You know, the people you have on the point now are the people you have on the point for the rest of the game. So it really comes down to the players that you see right now will decide the game. And it looks like the Confederates simply are not charging.
And no, it's quite interesting, especially with a minute left. Maybe they're trying to get their respawns up after getting obliterated and try to just have
Union
more
charging.
bodies.
Confederates charging now. I think they were just waiting for the 1 minute mark in their steam call, which is very organized. They were very planned out to charge out exactly 1 minute left, but losing their flag, losing a lot of men in this charge. Oh my God, just look at that.
It's trickling in. We got a great view from our Union player right now. Didn't have a shot, but he does have a bayonet. He's charging in, doing a delaying action, getting some stabs off. Just look at all the smoke you can see on the overall battlefield. It's crazy.
Yes. Looks like that charge did not end in the favor of the Confederacy, and the Union control the point. Confederates spawning almost 4 minutes away. Union pushing them down to final push. Now that's just that insult to injury.
Yeah,
this
for
was,
sure.
This was the CSA's pick.
The point has flipped in
Mhm.
counterattack, and now the defenders are the attackers. Not like it matters, because Union gonna have to go down to the last stand for that to matter at all.
You can see all the men yelling huzzah and charging off the Confederate cannons, winning the day for Hooker's Corps. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, that
So
was a
now,
fun round
yeah,
to watch. Yeah.
yeah.
All right,
Both
Sevi,
rounds.
what was your opinion of this round and the overall match?
I think at the beginning of the game, the Union, like for the first not even like 7 minutes, they it looked like it was going the Confederates' favor. The Union advances were all being pushed back, and Confederates were holding all the positions. But at the not even like 15 minutes into the game, when the Union charged out on the left, that was impressive. They just took the left by force and then just kept going. Um, when they took all the way around to the Confederate rear, it was done for them. The Confederates did a great job at the beginning of the game, holding information and trying to not lose their tickets, but it did not work out very well for them when the Union simply went around them. That's one of the benefits of a skirmish line or even like out of lines, is that you're a lot more spread out. So the Confederates were simply just enveloped, and yeah, I think that's why the Union were able to win there.
All right, thank you, Sevi. Our USA frontline reporter, Scott, how did that round go for you and the game as a whole?
It went fantastic. So our game plan for that was exactly what you saw. The stunt on the right at first was not actually meant to hold. It was meant to just lower tickets and try to delay their front artillery. Um, and then that big, large sweep was our major plan that we really wanted to go through, and it worked out. So we had a flawless game plan that we executed tonight, and it was great. It was awesome. A very good defensive effort from the CSA as well. They held off very well. They're always a formidable force to fight against. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Thank you for that. Panzer, are you back from your
Yep,
trip?
I just got back.
All
I
right.
didn't see it. Yep,
All
first
right.
match. I think there was a little probably some snafus towards the end. Could have positioned better, but that's just how some of those defense maps go. In the second map, I didn't see the outcome of. I was gone for most of it, but
Union won.
yeah, I think there was also some snafus. The big insider thing from the community, big issue with big units is it only takes one small little unit to be with you to throw out the whole game plan. So there was most likely some miscommunication there.
And that happens sometimes, and yeah, there's many more events to come. So yeah, I would like to say thank you everybody for watching these wonderful rounds on Pry Forward and Hooker's Push. It was very fun to commentate. Again, your team is myself as Guardian Eagle, with that one Sevi as the commentators, where we have Panzer as the CSA frontline reporter and Scott's as the Union frontline reporter. It's been great. Does anyone have any last comments to say before we sign off for the night?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Again, I just want to say props to the CSA counterparts. They played a very good event. Those boys in I-Corps always know how to put up a good fight. You know that it's never an easy win when we play them, so it's always comes out to be a great event. Thank you all for having me again.
All right, appreciate it. Well, in that case, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the next one.